I was in middle school. I was walking home this one time and I saw this new shop, and it was the same guy who used to sell DVDs at this other place. So I went to him and I asked him if he had some game CDs, and he did. And as I was scrolling, I saw this guy with a mohawk and I said, I need to get this. So I went home and I decided to steal about 100 rupees from mother's purse. Trust me, she would have said no, it was exam season. So the next day I went and bought Far Cry 3, which after me, all my friends borrowed and played, and that started an era of me actually buying games. So today, I will dive into some of that nostalgia of mine. So first, if you don't know what bootleg DVDs are, it's basically an unauthorized, illegally produced and distributed copy of a media. So pretty much anything that you put on a disc and you sell it after that is a bootleg DVD. And honestly, I have done that in school. So I was like in 8th grade and I sold Call of Duty 1 to a friend of mine in a small disc. But you know, if PlayStation is not gonna make discs anymore, we should go back to our roots. Let me call my brother back home and start this business. हेलो हाँ वो GTA 6 आ रही है डिस्क वगैरह बनाए क्या
GTA 6 की सीडी GTA 2020 GTA 6 की सीडी बनानी
अरे
है
अरे
बहुत
भाई,
बड़ी
there was a time you could head into a shop that sold electronics of any kind and they would put a big collection of these beautiful discs in front of you. And these things were everywhere. Most people would buy them for the movies. The kids were buying them for the games. Even though the movies looked like they were filmed on an air fryer at times, the games always were quite interesting, like the cover arts at least, interesting to the point you would look at the cover and go like, Goku's in GTA? Tony Stark? Batman? The thing was that you could never really trust these either. It would say GTA 4 and you'd go home and it's again, damn San Andreas. And however it was an amazing part of our culture. Every other country where the games and movies were too damn expensive relatively to the per capita income, bootleg DVDs were really important. Personally, I would have never been able to experience so much of the content I have based my personality upon if it weren't for the CDs I was able to find and exchange with my friends when I was younger. It was also an amazing way to socialize with the kids your age. One time sitting on the desk while I was like talking to my friend about like how Black Ops is such a big ass game and you cannot find it anywhere, this guy in front of us turns back and apparently he had it. And the next day he gave it to me. I played it. We talked about how fun the game was and we became really good friends. And that guy is still one of my closest friends to this day. And maybe we wouldn't be friends if it wasn't for that one Black Ops bootleg DVD. And I'm not gonna lie, GTA 6 wouldn't have these many pre-orders if there were not kids in 2009 exchanging pen drives and CDs with YCD on it. During a time where broadband speeds were no more than 1 Mbps, which actually translates to about 250 kbps for like downloads, bootleg DVDs were just something accessible to everyone. You would literally just put that in your PC, install the game at best, and then play. And just hope it doesn't crash. No waits for downloads at all. This culture predates DVDs a long way. For games and everything, pirated VHS tapes in the 80s were spreading crazily, especially like in Asia and other parts of Latin America. This built the infrastructure that later shifted towards DVD. And then the DVD boom in 2000s is what brought us the prime bootleg days. Digital files could be copied without quality loss, and cheap DVD burners were pretty much everywhere. China, Ukraine, Russia, India, Brazil, almost all of Asia. These countries had large open-air markets selling pirated DVDs, VCDs, often bundled dozens of movies and games just in a single disc. And then over the 2010s, the internet speeds became pretty decent. People had the bandwidth to download movies finally themselves, so that part of bootlegging culture kinda diminished. But the games still carried on, as they were at times on the larger side, and if you talk about now, in most countries you're not going to find it being that prevalent. But still in places where broadband availability is not that great or the areas with strict internet controls, bootleg discs still persist. Personally, the last instance of bootleg DVDs I remember was finding Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC in 2020, and it had about 11 discs. 11 discs! But honestly, seeing how physical media is just dying now, even though people yearn for it, storing your games and movies that you don't distribute can be a fun idea. And you should get physical releases of any media you love. Movies, hell yeah. Games, hell yeah. Music, definitely. it feels really fulfilling to hold something in your hands that you love digitally, and you also get to keep it forever. And it looks amazing on your desk. With PlayStation announcing that they won't be making discs later, made me feel genuinely upset, as after a few years this trend will probably just be followed by even movies not getting their own disc editions. And you will never have the pride of forming a disc collection in your room. And after this news, I got myself physical editions of GTA 4 and 5 because I know that I won't be able to see any of that anymore. And you know, you need to own physical media of your favorite movies and favorite games and favorite music, anything relevant to you. Online collection itself is not that bad. I mean, Steam, I love it. I love stacking games up that I will never get the time to play. But yeah, PlayStation is taking a big L, come on. Anyways, that's all I had in my mind. I hope you enjoyed hearing me talk about this. So comment what you think and maybe let me know any similar memory of yours. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.